Hey, what's going on? My name is Jack Lane. Welcome back to a brand new video here at the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Warner Brothers Discovery. Um, they're not doing too good. We're just going to jump straight into the article, talk about it afterwards, and my whole view. Warner Bros. Discovery stock crumples to an all-time low after a huge Q2 impairment charge. Shares of Warner Brothers Discovery slid more than 12% in early trading on Thursday to all-time lows after the media conglomerate heavily reliant on its pay TV business. It announced a whopping 9.1 billion write-down, reflecting the loss of value of its linear television networks like Warner Brother Kids, HBO, just really any channel that they have. CW is just not going good. WBD shares were down as low as $6.73 per share on Thursday, minus 12.7%, coming after the company's second quarter of 2024. Earnings report after the market closed. The stock's lowest closing price was on June 18th, 2024, when it ended the day at $6.99 per share. Its 52-week low entry price is $6.94 on June 20th, year to date. Warner Bros. Discovery shares were already down 34%. The stock drop has wiped out more than $2 billion of market value, with Warner Bros. Discovery's market capitalization falling below $16.7 billion on Thursday. As of close of trade, WBD's market capitalization stood at $18.8 billion, compared with more than $50 billion following the closing of Discovery's acquisition of Warner Media in 2022, which means they've lost close to $30 billion. And they're in debt of $30 billion, right? WBD is in debt of $30 billion. We knew this. When companies are forced to write down goodwill and an amount above their fair market value of an asset, they reduce that value from their business sheets and record an expense on their income statement for the loss. Such a move reflects management's acknowledgement that initial projects for investments or acquisitions fell well short of projections, WBD said. The triggering events for the goodwill impairment for its TV networks in the second quarter of 2024 were uncertainty about NBA rights, which the company is posed to lose starting with 2025 season, as well as continued softness in the linear ad market. The catering stock, the disappointing Q2 earnings, the massive debt load, and the company's loss of NBA will put more pressure on CEO Dave Zaslav to find a strategy and fast to right the ship. In light of the industry headwinds, we have and will continue taking bold steps like reimagining our existing linear partnerships and pursuing new bundling opportunities with the goal to get Max on the devices of more consumers faster and at a fraction of the acquisition cost, Zalavos said in a prepared remarks about the Q2 earnings. Last month's Warner Brothers Discovery laid almost 1,000 employees in a new bid to pare down costs. There could be an M&A event of WBD's horizon, familiar to the deal Skydance Media negotiated that would see it merge with Paramount Global, which also operates a business weighted toward TV. Zaslav, speaking at an investment conference this spring, said Warner Bros. Discovery will be optimistic in seeking M&A deals in the next 2 or 3 years. There are a lot of players that are losing a lot of money, he said. There'll be some players that want to get out of the business that will look to consolidate their streaming businesses with others. At Allen & Co. retreat last month in Sun Valley, Idaho, Zalos said he was in favor of whichever presidential candidate could cut through government red tape and ease the way for an M&A. We just need an opportunity for deregulation so companies can consolidate and do what we need to do even better, he said. I'm okay. Here's where I'm at with this. According to reports, right, and other things that I've seen and other things that were said in the past, Warner Brothers stock will probably be open tomorrow at $5 a share. To at which point you are going to get some big heavy hitter players pulling out because the company cannot make money. This is not a new thing for WBD. Warner Brothers has been on a downward trajectory for years, right? Warner Brothers Discovery merger deal, 50 million, right? That was what they were priced at 2 years ago. And within 2 years, they've lost 22 million. No, not 22 billion even. They were estimated 50 billion, now they're at 22 billion. There's a couple of things going on. They have a $30 billion debt. That we know of, right? When the WBD deal was done, they put a load of projects straight away into a vault, tax write-off straight away. They cancelled projects like Batgirl. They cancelled the Batman Cape Crusader show. Of course, we've now got that through Prime. Cancelled Superman and many other projects, right? They even cancelled the planned sequels for after Flash and Black Adam. So that was all in an urge to save money. I guess it kind of did save them money. They could be lower than they were, but who knows? What do I think is going to happen? What do I honestly think is now going to happen to WB? They're on two options. It's been reliable source. This is, it's been everywhere recently. They are looking to sell their video game division. Why? Why sell your video game division? And I'm on about, Rocksteady, WB Games, selling all the IP properties with it. And there's a part of me that's confused as to why they would do that. Like, Monolith as well would be going with them. And, I'm trying to think of created the Hogwarts Legacy. Can't remember. Selling the game side off, I know we're a movie channel, but selling the games off is a stupid decision. If they want to make $1 billion game, do you know what they do? They release another Arkham game. They go back to that Damian Wayne game that was being worked on for like 3 years. They get them to finish it. They release it. And just call it Arkham. Arkham, it will make money. Right? And don't make it live service, Jesus. Don't do that. Movie-wise, what can they do? Can fast track another Barbie film. That'll make probably $1 billion. The Batman Part 2 is already being made. That'll probably make near enough to $1 billion. Probably be about 900 million for them. Try and get, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint back to do 2 new Harry Potter movies. That would definitely gross probably $4 billion across the 2 films. Probably be close to $2 billion a film. Movie-wise, they're doing an I Am Legend 2. That should make some money, but I don't think it'll make a lot. So what should they actually do? Well, I don't know. I look at Warner Brothers at the moment, and there's only one option at this point. If they are looking to sell things off to get out of the debt, get out of this hole they're in. And they're looking at selling off the video games. Right, okay, that's a stupid idea, but okay. They're looking at selling off different IPs. What are you going to sell? Your Harry Potter? That could be worth 8 billion on its own, to be honest, because you can do more Harry Potters. You can do them 2 films. You can make the 4 billion. You can make 4 billion on them 2 Harry Potters. I'm sure you can then expand the universe forward from that by doing a spin-off show with the kid. So there's various things they could do there that would make someone go, okay, yeah, it's 8 billion. It still makes money today, streaming rights and whatnot. So that's not really an issue. Plus, you get the Harry Potter Warner Brothers Studio tour with it, because Warner Brothers can't own that because they sold Harry Potter as an IP. So they'll be getting all the money from that. So it's probably still worth 8 billion. Now they've only got to find another 22 billion. Next one they're probably going to sell is DC. That would probably get them. DC's current state, mind you, probably still do about 15 to 20 billion. They now only owe 2 billion. You do another Barbie film. Cool, 1 bill. No, you know, and you just figure out things to sell. That's what I think their strategic lookout is. If you sell Harry Potter and you sell DC, you might as well just sell the company. And I think Warner Brothers will be sold. I think a major player like Sony, Paramount, Disney, maybe not even, probably not Paramount, because they were looking at being sold, weren't they? Disney, Universal, Sony, I reckon will probably go in and buy the studio. Amazon, Apple, possibly. Netflix will probably go and buy the studio. Which one is most likely to buy the studio? Let's be honest. Oh yeah, Comcast as well. But I think I don't know which one Comcast is under. Who's most likely to buy the studio? Realistically, either Disney or Sony. Because if Sony buys WB out and owns all its properties, do you know what Sony gets? It gets all the movies and it gets all the games. Imagine being able to be Sony, who own PlayStation, imagine being able to be Sony and be like, we're rebooting the Arkhamverse. You're gonna get a game every 4 years from the Arkhamverse, and it's gonna be Batman Arkham. You're gonna get a couple of them. You're gonna get a couple of Superman games. And they just expand the DC studio game side, make it a connected universe, right? Video games, all exclusive for PlayStation. Boom. Money, please. And that's just the video games, let alone the films. Sony would then do their own universe. They'd probably let Marvel do the Spider-Man stuff for them at that point, because they'd have DC to work on. They'd still be making money from the Spider-Man stuff, but they'd just be like, right, okay, Disney, you can do... We'll still be in talks about what we're going to do with Spider-Man and the characters, but put Venom, put the villains in the MCU at this point. Why not? Then you've got... the toy side and everything like that. I think Harry Potter is probably the biggest brand, along with DC. James Gunn's universe, would that continue under Sony? Possibly. If it goes to Netflix, we will be getting the Snyderverse back. I'm 100% sure of it. The one company I can see buying it and logistically buying the entire thing and it working is Disney. This is nothing new. Disney buying Warner Brothers is nothing new. This has been a thing for years. I've been a fan of this idea for years, because Disney can do the proper interconnected universe. Disney can do... Because Disney have done wonders with the MCU, what they did with Marvel Studios. and Kevin Feige, you know, James Gunn can still be the head of that, still do that. I just think Warner Brothers as a studio, as a business, WBD is gone. It's if it does open at $5 a piece in the stock market tomorrow, someone will buy it. The reason why I say that is because cast your mind back, I think it's about a year ago, when things started being rocky, right? And it first started to happen. These questions were asked. The questions of, will you be buying Warner Brothers to Paramount, to Sony, to Apple, to Amazon, to Netflix, to every studio in Hollywood? Would they be buying Warner Brothers? And then it came out recently that there are still studios out there looking to buy Warner Media, Warner Bros. Discovery, right? And the reason they haven't yet is because they wanted the price to drop. Everyone has known for months this was going to happen. If you love the industry and you're in the know, you know, I knew this was happening because it was being reported that these studios were looking to buy it, but they're like, we're going to wait. Well, why are you waiting? Because if it drops any lower, we can get it cheaper. They can now buy Warner Brothers for $15 billion. Well, it's worth 18. No. Just because it's worth, just because that's what their estimated value is at the moment. I mean, if it's worth 18 billion, then the properties they've got aren't going to be worth that, are they? So, I honestly think we're going to get, in the next coming weeks, possibly by tomorrow or next week, studios really looking at whether they can afford and or want Warner Brothers. There's been a whole thing about Disney potentially buying them. Sony could, because I believe Sony and Disney will eventually buy Sony. I'm sure about that. But at the moment, I'm 100% convinced that Warner Brothers Discovery will be bought by a bigger studio. Will be bought by people with more money. And out of all the people I want it to be, Sony, Disney, or even Amazon. Sony, Disney, or Amazon. Let one of them buy it out. Let them do. Disney already has that deal, don't they, with Warner Brothers about the Max, the Hulu, Disney Plus, Max all being bundled together. So I think the sort of writing is in the stars for that one, because the writing's already there. The writing's already on the wall for that one. I think that's what we're going to get. I honestly believe that we are going to get Disney come out in a week's time, be like, okay, we're buying Warner Brothers. And there'll be a bidding war. Apple will try and bid for it. But I don't think, actually, no, Apple probably wouldn't. Apple would probably buy Disney. And be like, yeah, buy that. The other thing I can see happening is Disney and Sony buying the company together. Because that would be a big move. Disney and Sony are already in partnership, right? To do with Spider-Man. They already have that respect. Marvel, Disney has given them the Spider-Man games, the Wolverine games, and potentially the X-Men games, is being believed, for exclusivity. They've done the same for Microsoft with the Blade game, but they have this partnership. So would they go, well, let's go 50-50. We make the films, you make the games, and we just split it down the middle, and they merge the companies, because it's going to happen eventually. So it'd be Disney, Sony, or just Disney, and then Sony would be underneath as like a parent company. Warner Bros. Is going to be getting sold. I've been waiting for this day for the past, since AT&T sold it. It wasn't cheap enough then. It's definitely cheap enough now. If it drops any lower, like the company is going to have to go bankrupt at some point. It's not made any money in the 2 years. It's lost some more money. It's not good, is it? Warner Brothers, Discovery. Well, then they're mulling a split of profit, split the studios up, split them all up, and sell them off individually. Either way, Disney or Sony will buy DC because it's a profitable company. And they'll probably buy Harry Potter and all for the games and the movies, and what you can do with that is fantastic. I want to put this out here now, though. If Disney buys Warner Brothers, we're going to get the two Harry Potter films, Cursed Child Part 1, Part 2. We're definitely going to get them. They're going to make them films with the original cast. They'll go, look, we're doing this. Oh, okay, cool, we'll come back. Right? They will do that film. Then they will do Dark Knight Returns, like with Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan and that. I'm sure they'll do that to get money back in. Because the second that this happens, they're just going to start trying to print money for themselves. Best way to do it is do the films that are going to make billions and billions of dollars. The Harry Potter films can make between 2 to 4 billion just on them two films. And no, with them two films combined, I mean, it's like you release Part 1 and Part 2, they're going to make an estimated between 2 to 4 billion. Right? The last one made 1.3 billion, and this would be a legacy sequel. This would be nostalgia factor. Dark Knight would probably do about 1.8, 1.9 because it'd be a legacy sequel, nostalgia factor. So that's where my head's at for Disney. They'll just literally go and boom, 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 and they'll start releasing the Schumacher cut, the Ayer cut, because it's done. It's there. It's free. Release it in cinemas. You're gonna make 500 mil probably from that, 400 mil. Either way, and I think that's kind of where you look at it. You look if they actually went into their bloody vault and released these cuts, these movies that have been cut, the Ayer cut, if Warner Brothers had been thinking properly and they went in and they did this, then we'd have that. I think the DCU will stay as it is. I think they'll let James Gunn have a swing at it. If it's Netflix, Snyder will get it back, of course. So, yeah. With that being said, I will see you on the next one. As always, like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. As always, stay cinematic. Catch you later.